what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the CEO Pulse podcast, where you get the real, the raw, and the mind of entrepreneurship. I love the Mindset Monday episodes, man. I mean, they really set me up for the rest of the week. Sometimes I'm feeling groggy, and when we start having these conversations and really getting into the weeds of what happened to us like last week in terms of mindset, like there's a lot of awareness that just kind of flourishes to the top. And one of the things, and you actually brought this topic today, I think it's right on point. It's we can only rise to the level of our systems, right? The first thing that came to mind when you suggested that topic was systems, processes, KPIs, and then my whole my mind went into the whole performance side of things. Yeah. And then you mentioned, what about health? What about your mindset? What about your relationships? Those are systems as well. And I mean, it's a whole different context. It's a whole different take on a very, very common expression that we hear all the time, right? We can only raise our success, rises to the level of our systems.
Absolutely.
But what are those systems, right?
Yeah. What's your process? What's your strategy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a really cool intro with my co-host Justin Thorstad. See, I did it backwards today, unintentionally, but it worked out.
We always make time for priorities.
Yeah. Check well. Man. All right. Cool.
Just cut me out today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring you beautiful topics, discussion.
Well, that's how mind-blowing the topic was.
You're just so enthralled and entrenched in this
well, I mean, I didn't rise to the level of that system, right? I guess I got to fine-tune that system, the intro system. So, no, but with that being said, man, let's crack it open, because I think it's a very, very important cue for awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. And, so those different facets of our life, those different dimensions, what's your process for approaching that? I mean, most people, in my experience, are just on autopilot. They're just running through the normal motions. But then inevitably you have people like, oh man, I don't like this part of my life. I don't like that part of my life. And it's like, it's not being done to you.
Yeah.
How are you responding to it? Like, are you paying attention? Are you being objective? And do you even know what you want to create in that area of your life? I think most people aren't even clear about answering that question fundamentally. Because if you want to elevate a result in your life, a facet, your health, let's say, have you even sat down to articulate and identify what does point B look like? Like, what do you want to accomplish? Because without that, you're like, well, what strategy should I use? Well, it doesn't really matter because you don't know where you're going. So any road will get you there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what is it that you want to elevate? And then that's going to be the strategy will become more self-evident. You'll receive awarenesses. We talk a lot about we're struggling with something in our lives and we're like, gosh, man, I just want to get my hands on some information about this.
Yeah.
And we'll just be going through our day, completely forgot about the whole idea. And all of a sudden, boom, someone will bring up a book, right? Yeah. Or a podcast or something that they heard. You're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I was looking for. Yeah. Right. So.
Well, I think a couple of things happens, right, or happen in that sense. One, your reticular activating system is triggered. Now you're paying attention, subconscious attention to cues and a lot of stuff that's going around us that's in alignment to that one thing that we're looking for. But you're also in alignment. So I think energetically, we put ourselves in that path. I think. I mean, one of the things that to me was a reality check when we started talking about this was the fact that I automatically went to the doingness of things. I went to
You're surprised?
To the to the pragmatic side of business. Okay, the level of my systems correlate to business, right? Mm-hmm. By default in my head.
Yes. Yeah.
But what about life? What about the relationships? What about your mindset, right? Your mental and spiritual well-being.
Yeah.
So
your finances.
Yeah. Health, relations. So we kind of broke it down in five different areas, right? One of them being mindset. The second one being the professional space. Your health, your relationships, and your financial.
Yeah. Real quick though, but so hopefully the people that are watching, whether you're on IG Live or you're reviewing this later on YouTube, before you get into taking notes on the content, I would strongly suggest that you sit down and write out, those 5 facets of life, right? What is it I really want there?
Yeah.
Because you said something about you can attract things to you, solutions, strategies, resources, right? And if it aligns. Mm-hmm. Well, alignment, I really look at that as like resonance, right? Because everything in this universe is energy. This table is made up by massive molecules held together by energy. Same with our bodies, this cup, everything, right? So everything's vibrating at a certain speed, rate.
Right.
And so what is your vibration in regards to your intention, right? So this comes down to a simple intention versus mechanism. What's more important for you to succeed? And you'd have to agree, and for the sake of time, we won't get into a long explanation, but when the intention's clear, the mechanism will appear.
Yeah.
It'll unfold, it'll be shown to you. But that's because you're crystal clear and therefore have an elevated vibration about your intention on what you desire to create. And now you're in alignment with it, and it unfolds. Yeah. And that's why we say the hustle and grind is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I love it, man. I couldn't agree more. What are let's talk a little bit about the systems, right? And again, the stigma with the word system, I feel like it's very mechanical. It's very
regimented.
It's almost like it's a word that belongs in the business space.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In the professional space, in the doingness space. But as opposed to the mental mindset or the spiritual, like, but anything that has a process behind it, like what's your ritual? Like anybody who has a morning ritual or a routine, right? That's a system. That's that's something that's in place to set you off into the day intentionally, right?
100%. Yeah. So let's talk about that then. So mindset is a facet of your life. What's your system to create a bigger, better version of you? Like if you want to create a new personal reality, it's going to come through a new personality. So what's your process every single day? That's a system. Yeah.
Yep.
And so a lot of people, I just think a lot of content that people absorb, digest that's out there when it comes to these kinds of conversations is you got to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you really ask yourself, or you hear that you got to be disciplined, it's like, yeah, that's what I need. I need more discipline. It's like, but you're not. And if you take a look at it vibrationally, what's your relationship to that word disciplined?
Yeah.
Right? It's got a negative connotation. So I don't think it takes discipline at all. At all. I don't think I'm that much of a disciplined person. Yet I'm really super consistent at the things that matter to me.
Yeah.
Right? So again, the intention of, okay, mindset. Why should that be important to me? Well, let's discuss that, because that's a pretty broad category, right? Mindset, we're talking about spirituality. What do you believe in as a higher power that's guiding and directing and helping orchestrate these things? What's your relationship to it in regards to, do you think you're separate from it and subordinate to it, or are you connected and it's all one? And mindset in regards to your
thought process, your psychology.
Yeah, your programming, your conditioning, right?
Yeah.
Your belief systems and your self-image that are naturally driving behavior. Yeah. So mindset's, I think, the most important category. That's why we started with it first. Yeah. Because whatever the mind is set to, those belief systems, they set up bias filters. It determines what we take in.
Yeah.
We could even have a situation unfold, and because of our belief systems, it'll distort what actually happened to fit what we believe and expect to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like everything comes from there. It's systemic. And without addressing that, so as we're talking about these other facets, right? The health, the finances, if you're like, yeah, but I'm overweight, I got no energy and I'm broke. Great. That you created that from the current mindset and the system you have. Like even if you don't have a system, that's a system.
The incredible part is that, I mean, if you step back and look at the whole thing, right? Everything is a system. Everything is systemic, like you just said, right? What can we do with systems? We can improve we can improve systems. We can change systems.
How do you improve without a system?
Yeah.
Right? Like if you want to see, okay, the efficiency and the effectiveness of my system, look at the results you produce.
Yeah.
Yes? And if you're not getting the results you want, why don't you just measure, track what's happening? And like if you can measure it and you can track it, you can change it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because nothing's being done to you. It's your call.
Yeah.
So the morning practice or ritual, that doesn't take discipline. It takes desire. Like, I want to do this, not because I'm insufficient, I'm not enough, and I have to change or else. No. That's resistant. When I'm talking about a morning ritual, it's like, it's sacred. I get to do this for me. Because when we're done with our morning practice, I mean, I'm speaking for you right now, and I believe I have the authority to do so, because we do it because who we are when we're done, our state of being,
Yeah.
is so elevated, and we get to take that version of us through the rest of our day until we don't,
Yeah.
get triggered or, lose your shit and go unconscious, right? But that's the goal. And if you want to have bigger, better results and a bigger, better life, it's going to come from an elevated version of you.
Yeah.
So what's your system to prime your state before you leave the house?
It's important to understand too that not everything can be theoretical, right? A lot of times it's no, you know what, we're gonna, I'm gonna sit there and then just reflect on everything and think about things and then just process feelings and emotions and triggers and all kinds of shit through our just in my mind. Like, no, you have to put the hammer to the nail per se, sometimes, right? You have to put in,
Effort.
the exactly the effort, the intention to move, to create that space of well-being. One of them, for me, being the morning ritual, it's a non-negotiable. Like, it's something that happens every single morning for me, because I feel like I would have gone crazy by now if I didn't have that space, me space in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And it's a ritual. It's not really a routine. Sometimes it changes, but the space, the timeline, between 5 and 10, it's pretty much, it's all about, me spending time with the kids, dropping them off, working out, doing the me thing, right?
Yeah,
whatever
filling
that
your cup.
means, filling my own cup. Yeah. And then 9:30, 10 rolls around, and then I get into work mode and then the taskiness of things and putting fires out and whatever, the regular stuff that we deal with as entrepreneurs. But if that cup is not filled or nourished in the morning, man, the rest of the day just feels
Reactive.
yeah, feels reactive, and it feels like like it's gotten out of out of hand or out of my control, right?
Yeah, chaotic.
Yeah, chaotic. So that morning ritual it's really a system for me to walk, out of the house and into the world, in this, better, holding a better space for everything that's coming, right?
Yes. And so here's the value of that, really. This is my attempt to enroll people to get a morning practice. If you think about it, like, for example, here's my morning practice. Very first thing, sit down, gratitude. What am I grateful for?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, what is that elevating? My spirituality. I'm connecting, yes, emotionally speaking.
Yeah.
I go sit down to meditate, quiet my mind and body, remind myself that I'm the one witnessing my mind and body. Yeah. And the crazy amount of downloads, just awarenesses that come through.
Yeah.
Solutions to a problem I had yesterday that I totally forgot about even dwelling on it. Boom, there's a solution. Like, that to me is spirituality, right? Like, they say prayer is talking to God and meditating is listening, right? So I think you got one mouth and 2 ears for a reason. So you can listen twice as much as you talk. So what are you listening to? What are you connecting with?
Yeah.
Yeah, music or the divine? Call me crazy. So now, after that, it's movement. Yeah? So what facets that's going to be in? Our physicality, our health. But that also supports mindset.
Yeah.
Because if you're irritated, you woke up pissed off, angry, don't want to show up today, right? And you go move your body, how do you feel? Ready to go.
Yeah.
Right?
The
Happier, better mood.
100%. 100%. We have to take care of the vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have to take care of the vehicle as well, being the body, being the the health portion of things. I mean, for the longest time I was waking up in the mornings and then I would go straight to meditating, and then that kind of started. I felt like the effect started to taper, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna switch a couple of things here and there. And then I started. So now what I do is I'll wake up and then 20 minutes later I'm at the gym. So I go straight into movement first, and I listen.
Really?
I'm the guy that listens to audiobooks at the gym instead of music. And I don't know. It's like I'll be listening to like The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer, and then going maxing out on reps and like I don't know. It's crazy. It just motivates me in the morning,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So it's the system is gonna work for you. Like we all have. Different triggers. We all have different things that are gonna kind of do it, and it doesn't mean that it can't change. That's it's part of the improvement process, right? I think that goes into play as well. So like right now, for example, to me again, it's I wake up, I go to the gym with my son. We spend the first couple hours of the morning together. This happens at 5 a.m. And when I come back, I usually have about 30, 40 minutes before I have to go drop them off at the bus stop.
Okay.
So I go, take I make my coffee, go straight into my office at home, and I'll sit down for a meditation session. Like that's when I kind of reflect, but it's, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I already engaged the body that I don't feel so busy. I don't feel like I have something, that I got to rush to go knock it out. So that, that's working well. And that switch on the, to me, it did a good click. Again, you go, straight into meditation in the mornings, and I know you're always like, you have this mobility, thing, ice baths and all kinds of just, different stuff, right? You have this whole different approach on how you go about your morning process, your system. The important thing is to understand that there's going to be so many different options, right? To work on your mindset. The thing is to figure out what clicks, right? What resonates with you, and then try it out. Give it enough time to work.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing why people don't get started with a morning ritual, a practice, is because they don't know what to do and what order to do it in. But I'm just here to tell you, like, you're full of shit if that's what's holding you back. Because there is no, like, the way. They're just all a way. Yeah?
Yeah.
And so what I really want to encourage people to do is, like, just start with something, maybe just 3 items, right?
Yeah.
Even if they're 10 minutes each, just get started.
Yeah.
And play with it and notice, how do I show up in my day? What if I were to move this one on top first and then go in this order? Like, every body is different.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, when I do movement first, because a good friend of mine, when we go do sessions, his morning ritual that I go through with him is way different than mine. And it doesn't quite work for me because we go for a long run and then do some, HIIT cardio type stuff and then sit down and meditate for 45 minutes. And I'm like, my body is so awake and alive that to quiet it down and get it to acquiesce is a challenge.
Yeah.
So it takes me a long time to get where I want to go with my meditation. So it doesn't work for me, but it works for you, right?
Yeah.
But for you, like, getting out that energy and so forth causes you calmness. To me, it wakes me up.
Yeah.
So there is no right answer. It's what's right for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be a different, trigger per se.
It's personalized
Yeah.
for sure. But that's just it. Like, you got to look at this practice as giving to you, and it's about building the relationship with yourself, because then you can give that throughout your day. Like, you can't give something you don't possess, right?
Yeah.
So it's about, why are you doing the practice? And if the practice is just simply to show myself, like, a sign of honor, that I care about me, that I love me, and I want to give to me, so I have to give to the others in the world. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, how do you show up great and contribute something of value to all your relationships if you don't have a good relationship with yourself?
No, you have to hold that space. You have to give yourself the space to hold it in the first place.
Exactly. You got to create it. So you can give it.
Yeah. And it may feel like if you're the type of person, maybe like us, right, a while back, that was going on like the Energizer Bunny, 24/7, and you felt like if you slowed down for 10 minutes, you were wasting time, or you didn't have 10 minutes to sit down and work on your morning, ritual or your mindset system. That's even the more reason why you need to do it.
Exactly.
It creates clarity. It creates a relation, like a stronger bond. Believe it or not, it may sound weird, but it creates a stronger bond with yourself, within yourself. That whole self-love, self-understanding, the self-awareness, the feeling of worthiness. It doesn't come by reading a fucking book.
No.
It comes by sitting there and appreciating who you are. The way you do that is by staying in silence and actually reflecting on yourself, right? Meditating upon the things that are good, gratitude, everything that comes at you as far as opportunities on a daily basis, and the person who you're showing up as.
Well, you just said it. Like,
you can't have that conversation with somebody else. You can't pick it up in a book. You have, like, that's a you and you thing.
You have to experience it.
Yeah.
Right? Which means you're going to have to go do it. You're going to have to implement the information and execute, take action. But because you can. Not because if I don't, this bad thing will happen. No, I'm going to do this, not because I need to, but simply because I can.
Yeah.
And if I can and it would give to me, why wouldn't I do that?
Yeah.
So when that desire is there, you'll want to approach your practice as like a mad scientist. Yeah. Let me do these couple things that I think is my best guess, and then let me move around the order and give it a couple days and then move this and give that a couple days. Like you get to do that.
Brother, I'm my favorite experiment.
Right? Dude, if you're going to study something, you might as well study you.
Around with,
you're going to be in there your whole entire life. But the important thing that you said is it's about building the relationship with yourself. Think about that. Break it down. Building the relationship with yourself, your personality. It's something you have. It's not who you are.
Yeah.
And you know, a lot of people hate their personality because it says negative shit, gives you bad advice, and you're resisting it. It's like, it ain't going nowhere, man. You're not operating without it. So you might as well learn how to work in collaboration with it, in partnership, because you're both going to the same destination, wherever the hell that is. You might want to get clear.
Yeah.
You'll work with yourself.
Yeah.
So, and that unobserved part of your personality.
A system gives you clarity, right? You can't rise, any higher than whatever you have in place as far as the system. It's going to give you clarity. It's going to give you a way deeper understanding, and it's going to give you consistency as well. Yeah. If you have a way of, something that's, for example, something super like stupid simple that I started doing, and I was not the calendar guy. I was not, no, I don't need a calendar. Like, I feel like it's silly to give somebody, put somebody on my calendar. Like,
how long ago was this?
Who the fuck am I to have a calendar? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that really was my thought process.
How long ago?
I'm maybe a couple of years.
Really?
2-3 years, yeah. So it wasn't, I was not, like, now if it's not on the calendar, it's not happening. But you know what? In my calendar, I have gym time. I have me time. I have time blocks for me in there, as opposed to just kind of shooting from. So that's a very simple system to implement, right? And it's actually the foundation for some of the most important areas of my life. Time blocking is huge, right? Giving myself that space to be with me, me with me in the mornings. Yeah. Right. It's not just, my mornings. My system in the mornings is not just about me. Again, I spend time with my wife, my kids. And
but you said like like 5 hours?
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time with them. No, so I wake up at 5. The first couple hours are that I wake up at 5, and by 5:30, my son and I are at the gym. We usually come back around 6:45, right? 6:20ish, I'm dropping him off at the bus stop. I come back. I have a window of time before my wife goes to work, so I spend some time with her while she's making coffee and doing her thing, right? Yeah. And then I come back and I drop off my son at 8 at school, so I drop them both off.
Okay.
And then by 8:15, 8:20, I'm back home. It's kind of my space, right? So I have a good hour and a half just to figure out me, my day, to journal. And then around 9:30 I start to execute.
So what I heard is
it flies. Like
it really does. Like my morning practice is 90 minutes for sure, but it's not involving the kids and stuff, but just the me time. But what I heard you say is you drop one kid off at school, and one at the bus stop.
Yeah.
Does he get pissed off about that?
What do you mean?
Well, he doesn't get a ride to school. He's got to take the bus.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well,
is he not jealous of the other one? No, I'm kidding.
He is going to be driving in about 2 weeks. So.
Poking fun. But so mindset. What's your system to elevate the results in your life? Because everything stems from the mindset, your beliefs.
Let me just connect something there, because I think I didn't make an emphasis on it. To me, a big part of my mindset is feeling good about legacy, if you wanna say it that way.
Sure.
Legacy is just, I mean, to me, it's really what you're leaving behind in terms of advice and beliefs and morals, right? So to me, it's important to have those conversations with my kids in the morning. That sets me up. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you, like, one of the questions that I ask both of my kids this morning is like, "What are you excited about today?" They're like, I don't know, I got nothing. Like, well, think about it, because I'm going to ask you again this afternoon. Yeah. Right? But it's planting those little seeds that I do them. I think I do them for them, but they make me feel good. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm doing that kind of stuff from a space of love, it nourishes my mindset. Yeah. Well, so it's
and you're giving it.
Yeah,
too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you're definitely a role model for a father figure, man. Much respect.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, really, sincerely.
And you know what I mean? And that kind of sets me up in a really good space. Now I got to hold it. So it becomes this.
At least you got something to hold.
This give and take.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it gives this, it creates this give and take, space of growth, right? But it's part of the whole mindset morning. Yeah. Like, really, for me, that's part of my system.
100%. So I think we have a hierarchy here, but What's the next one you want to discuss?
So we had the second one was professional, right? We're talking about professional systems.
Yeah. I'm gonna botch our plan here. I'd like to get into relationships right quick.
I think we're totally gonna slaughter this.
Yeah,
thing. I mean, we'll come back and then do
we spent
another
like a whole
episode on it.
30 seconds, but on our strategy here, it's all always organic. And I want to talk about relationships because, again, we just got done saying, like, first thing in the morning, your sacred time is for what? Mindset. It's really also cultivating, generating, incubating, nurturing the relationship with yourself. So why? Because of legacy, right? Like, you're going to die.
Yeah.
And you ain't taking shit with you. Yeah. So the only question is, okay, what am I going to leave behind? What have I contributed to humanity, the collective, in such a way that could shift it a little more towards like heaven on earth and unity, love, connection? And so, listen, I've said it on here before many times. Like, I believe the quality of our lives come down to the amount of quality relationships we have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, because think about it. If your health was taken away, all your money, all your possessions, everything, and it's just you, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to lean on your community, your circle, your tribe. Yeah?
Yeah.
Your family. And that, I don't mean blood related. And it's like, those are quality relationships. So the only question that I ask myself is, what am I contributing? Because we're always contributing something, positive or negative.
Yeah.
Yes? You know what I mean? So what am I contributing to those relationships? And again, if I'm not able to give something I don't possess, well, let me be responsible and give to myself and elevate that relationship. So I bring that version as a contribution to my other relationships. And because we're going to talk about profession. What is that? Relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, less than they're formal relationships, right? But at the end of the day, it's still the same, same basic principle.
I went to this event last night. And a lady, a husband and wife, they own a very large, successful business, and boom, just like hit massive success in a very short amount of time. Anyways, their employees were there, and there was a moment for people to talk about what they appreciate about the person that invited them to this event. And 10 employees stand up, and one goes, I'm here because this person, the husband and wife, I work for them, I work with them. Yeah. They were going to say work for them. Like, their philosophy in that organization is, we're not the boss, you're not the employee. We work with each other. And it's like, you know what, man, that's an awesome culture and a beautiful thing that people want to be a part of. Who wants to work for a boss and be told what to do? Like, you had enough of that as a child, right?
Yeah.
Your parents.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, I just wanted to tangent. Like, that's a reflection. Like, the culture they created is a reflection of the relationship they have with themselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and to kind of intertwine it, right? Like that's a system from for the professional space as well.
Yeah,
so
totally.
So think about, and it may not be the sexiest thing, right? To think about your life in terms of different processes and systems and whatnot, but understand that there's an order to things. There's an order to achieving a healthy mindset. There's an order to achieving a healthy spiritual space. There's an order to financial success. Like if you want to have great relationships, you bet your ass there's gonna be an order to that.
Yeah.
You can't have a great relationship with your parents if you never fucking call them. You know what I mean?
100%.
It's
well, listen. When you say systems and processes, I'll be honest. Like, part of my personality goes a little resistant because I don't like methodical, calculated type things. Like, I get bored. However, that's my relationship to it, and I know that's my bullshit, and I can reframe my relationship to it, because you got to have a system. And listen, we've all heard this before. If you fail to plan out a strategy, you're by default planning to fail. Yeah. Fail to plan, planning to fail. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have a process. So,
no, man, I love it. So the last one that we had was. No, I think we covered. Oh, financial. Yeah, financial.
Financial. Yeah, like, do you got a fucking budget, a P&L?
Yeah.
Income distribution buckets? Like, this is really cool. And I share this with all my students, especially my agents in the brokerage, is income distribution buckets. Like, most people earn income, whether you're W-2, 1099, self-employed, doesn't matter. Money comes in, income, and you think it's 100% yours.
Yeah.
And then you're behind on bills. taxes are past due. You don't have the money to pay them. It's like, that's a fucked up system, bro.
One of the best things I can recommend out there, this was a game changer for me, because I mean, I had one account, okay, cool. I got paid 10, 15, 20, 50,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got 50,000. No,
Yeah.
the fuck you do. It's Profit First. Mike McCow. It's a really good book. If you're a real estate investor, Profit First is by David Richter, is like emphasizes the real estate investment side.
Okay.
But those principles, the profit first principles are solid. It just it walks you through this whole system of allocating your financials. You're still gonna have to earn money, make money. You're gonna have systems for marketing and all that stuff.
Well, I'll say this. So
knowing what to do with it is important.
Exactly.
I think that's where a lot of
So
people drop off.
if you want to know what to do with your money, here's a good tip. So many years ago, I finally broke 100,000 as a realtor, right? And I was like, yes. But I found myself still broke. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make more money. And I did. And I started making a lot of money. I was making 400,000 within just a couple years, like 3 years. And lo and behold, I was still fucking broke. I'm like, how could this be possible? I just 4x my income and I'm still in the same boat.
Yeah.
And I realized more money will never fix the problem. It's my relationship to money. It's an energy, right?
1,000%.
And so here's what I did. I started training myself how to live off of 40% of my income. You're like, 40%? Yeah, it's really a lot easier than you think. Money comes in. Okay, $10,000 commission check. Great. I get 40% into my personal checking account because the money goes into my business, right? And then I get a distribution. 20% goes to taxes. 1% goes to my investment account, and that includes debt reduction and investing and all of that. And then I got an education bucket too. Like if you're not paying yourself first for your education, investing into you, like who the fuck's going to do it?
Yeah.
Like no one's coming to save you. And it feels really good when something comes across your awareness, a seminar, a coach, whatever the case is, and you're like, oh my gosh, man, that's going to really support me, but I'm broke.
Yeah, you can take the opportunity.
No.
We do something very similar. So I got fancy with my names, and I have 4 main accounts. Well, now I added an investment and holdings account, but I had 4 main accounts when I started doing this and getting like more systematic about it. The create account, wealth account, live account, and flow account.
Okay.
So I have a create, wealth, live, and flow. Like that's
They sound pretty.
Yeah, I know, right? Like I feel like I nailed it. I was like, man, create, wealth,
Those resonate with
live, and flow. Like, man, I can get that tattooed. So anyways, so my create account, it's for memories, it's vacations, it's it's my discretionary income. I do whatever, I don't know, we take a trip to Costa Rica or whatever. Like it's
Experience life.
Yeah, a percentage of it goes into that account. That account's always money comes into my wealth account, which is like where I capture all the income, and then where I keep the good, usually 20 to 30% stays in the wealth account. Before any distributions or whatever. But anyways, I have that. And you look at the create account, it's like, all right, cool. In my head, let's create some memories. Let's create fun times. It's not I'm gonna pay the bills with this account. I'm gonna pay taxes with this account. I have a tax account, but it's I don't know. It's a good place to start understanding how your money flows through your accounts.
Yes.
The live account is where I have my home expenses. Okay, my mortgage gets paid. Actually, yeah, mortgage gets paid out of that. My cars get paid from the company because that's smart. And then bills and utilities and groceries and that sort of thing, right? So it's like I had no idea how much we were spending until I started dialing that in. And the flow account, it's, if I have stuff on credit card stuff, I put stuff on credit cards so I get miles and all kinds of stuff. So it goes into the flow account. But yeah, like breaking it down, like that system for the financial side of things, it's...
If you don't start putting money in those accounts, they're never going to grow.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, you may be in a position where you're like, Justin, what the hell are you talking about, man? If I put X% in this account and right, and I'm left with 40%, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. Cool. But do this.
Yeah.
When the money comes in, distribute it to those accounts anyways. Yeah. And then here's what you do. If you have to, like if you put the money in those accounts, you have access to it. But like energetically, you just spent it, right? And so if you spent the money and there's a requirement, I still need $3,000 to pay my living expenses and APS and food and right? Your mind can go into solution mode. Yeah. You can go into, I've been here before and I always figure it out. I'm open to receive opportunities, income, abundance flowing to me.
Right.
Now, let's say you don't. Can you go into that other account and play a little game with yourself? Okay, there's $1,850. Okay, well, I really want to keep $1,500 in that account. So I'm going to take out $350. And this account, I'm going to take out a little bit, just enough to piece it all together to still live, eat, not be evicted, foreclosed on, right? Yeah. But here's the power. You started to develop the behavior and the relationship to putting in those accounts. Eventually, if you do that and you got to borrow from accounts, fine. Do what you must do to survive and thrive. But if you wait until you have more income to do this, you'll never do it. Yeah. Because that's a shitty system. Just get started and distribute the money. If you have to, pull it back out.
There's this one thing though, also about distributing it to different places. Like when I put money into the Create account, I get excited.
Yeah, and you don't want to take it out.
I was like, shit, I want to put more money into that account because I know those are fun times. Those are vacations with the family. Those are experiences. Those are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just creates this whole sense of excitement as opposed to just having everything in one place where everything commingles and you don't know if you have enough for a vacation or
you don't know if you're coming or going and what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'll tell you, I had this private coaching client and she was pretty successful as an agent. She was making about $1.25 a year from her real estate sales. And she started coaching with me. And in less than 12 months, she just completely exploded by adjusting her mindset. Oh, and she was always broke at $125,000 a year. And I taught her this income distribution along with some other things. That year, she made $414. All of her accounts were full. And she's like, I've never had this level of liberty in my life. Yeah. And I created it. Thank you for the strategy. I'm like, well, thank you for not thanking me because I didn't do shit but give you information, right? Yeah. But it's like the sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And like the only time I feel that we really respect ourselves is when we complete a thing. Yeah. Whether that's your morning ritual or putting money in your wealth accounts or priming the relationship with yourself.
It's a win. It's important to recognize the wins.
Yeah, man. You got to take inventory of those because the personality always wants to see where you're falling short. Yeah. So the only way to counteract that, create new evidence that contradicts.
Build it up.
Yeah.
Build it up. I love it. So, man, it's a really good take on systems, right? Again, it's not just business systems that we need as entrepreneurs. We need systems for mindset, for health, for relationships, for finances.
You don't need a spreadsheet for your morning practice.
Yeah.
Whereas you might in your business from tracking KPIs. That's different.
Yeah, you don't have a spreadsheet for your morning ritual?
Hell no.
Weird. No, so, but yeah, Justin, where can somebody get a hold of you?
Yeah, justinthorstad.com or on YouTube, my channel, Justin Thorstad JT Seminars, and my cell phone, 602-348-8534.
Boom. Is that your real number? Is that your real phone
That's my
number?
cell, bro, yeah. Yeah, please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe.
Yeah.
You'll find these episodes on there.
What's the YouTube channel again?
The actual, just search Justin Thorstad.
Justin Thorstad.
JT Seminars.
JT Seminars, Justin Thorstad. We'll have him work on that and then just cleaning it up.
I'm gonna get him to do it for me.
Yeah. So and so hook us up. Do us a favor. Subscribe, like, and share. Send this podcast out to somebody who you think might benefit from it. If you like the content that we're doing for you, putting together, put a lot of effort and energy and good vibes into everything that we do. So every share means a lot. We appreciate it. If you want to get a hold of me or have a conversation, which is what this whole thing is about, you can find me on social media at Rafael Cortez CEO. And, of course, the CEO Pulse podcast on iTunes and my YouTube channel at Rafael Cortez CEO. All right? So with that being said, crushed it, dude.
Yeah, awesome.
Good talk.
That was fun. Yeah.
Right, fam, catch up, guys, on the next one. Stay focused. You got this.